Hello there everybody, Pugsley and Wednesday Addams for What Culture here, and wouldn't you just know it, the weekend has brought us some delicious news, specifically that the reviews for the Joker movie have arrived, and, well, I mean, reviews of a movie are not newsworthy in of themselves, but the sheer consistency and effervescent praise levels for this film mean that it's almost certainly worth talking about. Still, what we got? A good couple of days before it hits.
Is this how you check days?
No, I haven't actually got to watch it. If I did, it wouldn't have a calendar on it. But still, we're still a few days away from being released on general sale in the UK. But wow, I was kind of mixed about this film when it got announced. I was like, I don't need to do this. It's just not really a thing. And then the trailers came out and the cast. I was like, oh, actually, no, it could be quite interesting. But now, frothing at the proverbial, to be honest, for this after reading most of these.
Oh God, yeah. Well,
great
that's absolutely thrown me.
Should we go through some of the reviews we've got and try and sort of like pick out some?
So basically, I've collected a load of reviews, which means Variety collected a load of reviews, and I looked at them.
Thank you, Variety.
Thanks, Variety.
Spice of life, I think.
Yeah, but most of them are really good. So everything we've seen so far has been people tweeting about it, people posting about it, being like, "Oh my God, Joker looks amazing. Joaquin Phoenix is amazing. His makeup is amazing." But basically, to begin with, Variety themselves have said, many have asked, and with good reason, do we need the Joker movie? Do we?
That was me. That was just literally me.
Yeah, what do we need? Well, yeah. Yes, what we do need badly are comic book films that have a verite gravitas.
I can't believe you've hyped up the word amazing so much leading into that, and Variety don't use the word amazing.
Oh yeah, no, that was just free fall.
We'll have to come back to it as
that was all me, baby.
That's good though. Gravitas is kind of. I really like the Marvel films, but gravitas is not a word I'd normally apply to them in broad strokes. They're kind of very colourful, very brash. All superhero films tend to be very sort of visually spectacular, but you kind of have to find the meaning, and you have to want to find the depth in it when there really isn't normally that much.
Yeah, they're usually quite shallow. Whereas I think that from what most people are saying about this is that Joker has a lot to say. It's got a big political thrust. It's got.
We will get to that as it goes on.
We will get to that, but like that it is deep and has verite gravitas. They can't just say it like normal, can they? Have to do it
once more. Like you've got a brandy and you're really evil. Verite gravitas.
My brandy's going all over the place here. I'm spilling it.
Have you ever held a glass in your life?
No, I haven't. But yes, that was Variety. Empire has said, what writer-director Todd Phillips and co-writer Scott Silver have written into life is the Joker. Scott Silver sounds like a Marvel character. Have written to life is the Joker as a character. What they in the film is interested in is the mental, moral, emotional, physical makeup of the man who became the Joker.
There's a lot of that sort of going into there's more character studies done in this than any origin story done in a superhero film. But when you think about it, when you do an origin story in a superhero film, it's kind of got to be just the groundwork because they have to go do the superhero thing, don't they? They have to appear to be a superhero because obviously it's the good guys you present, whereas this is the Joker, so you can't just literally lay the groundwork for him without actually having to do any major things.
But I think they do. I think they do have like I think the final act is where it all unravels and goes very big.
Veritably gravitasian. Yes.
Yeah, very verity. I can't speak French. I can't. But we move on to another one, which was Vital Thrills, which is just Phoenix absolutely transforms himself as Arthur Fleck, which is given really. Just basically that Phoenix is the Joker in this film. Everyone's been talking about Oscar bait. They've been going, oh, he sounds amazing. He looks amazing.
Well, Joaquin Phoenix is one of the greatest character actors of his generation, and the Joker is one of the most fascinating, fictional characters of his generation. Like the Jack Nicholson portrayal was absolutely iconic. Heath Ledger completely redefined Heath Ledger as a person, and also the Joker as a villain. And then, well, Jared Leto.
He was there too.
Look, he brought something completely original to that. That was a very different presentation of the Joker, and you think all three of them so far might as well have been playing three different characters.
That is the nicest I've heard anyone talk about Jared Leto's Joker.
Look, I think Jared Leto gets dumped on from a great height, and I think a lot of it was because it just wasn't Heath Ledger.
Yes, but also it was bad.
Look, it wasn't great, but in a really daftly camp, over the top presentation of the Batman films, which is completely in contrast to the Nolan films. It was the right kind of way to approach the Joker.
It could have been really good. Suicide Squad as a whole could have been really good. Yeah. But what were we left with? Not very good. So
I don't think the performance of Jared Leto was bad, nor was the way he presented the Joker. It was the whole package was not. Look, I'm trying to be nice here, all right?
I need like some question marks like appearing above my head like
or
that.
tattooed all over your face and your chest.
"Whoa."
The point I'm trying to make here is, if you didn't know they were all the Joker, you could very easily make the case that these were three very different characters in three very different films. You wouldn't know they were all the same guy. And from what I've seen of this counts as well. It's nothing like the other
absolutely a
performances.
new one. They've said that they're not inspired by anything from the comics. They're doing their own thing with it, and I think that is great for Joaquin Phoenix to just go wild with, which is what appears to have happened. Collider have said as well, if we carry on with our little quotes that tie into all this, an intimate standalone character study that is extremely influenced by another era of filmmaking. So that kind of ties into what we've just said about it having its own, like, very palpable, character-driven new version of the Joker.
It's set in the 70s, isn't it?
Yes, apparently it's very cool. Like, apparently it's very 70s filmmaking style. Like, it's maybe it's just Boogie Nights. I don't know. Like,
Boogie Nights with the Joker.
Yeah.
I like that as a creative decision when you think about it, because they're so, again, superhero films tend to get so bogged down in setting up the next film.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, this one might not have been great, but look at all the narrative threads it's left open. Look at all the things it can do. Please stay for our end credit scene. This is just, if you set this in the 70s, and Joaquin Phoenix makes a really good performance as the Joker, you're obviously going to want to use him in future films, so you're kind of tied to doing all the Batman films in the 70s, which they're not. Like, it's a standalone thing. They're not getting bogged down in like, well, here was Gotham of the 70s. This is the new cinematic world you have to exist in if you want to watch DC films. It's just, no, here you go. Here's a really, really interesting story about a really interesting character. It doesn't matter if it ties in to anything else, which I will say is probably the thing I'm most interested in about this film.
Yes.
I haven't got to sit there and be like looking for clues about, oh, there's Two-Face in the next film. Oh, here's Batman here. Like, this is...
You know what? It'll be a relief to not be faced with a cinematic universe. It will be a relief. It will be,
what you're trying to say there is it's going to be a relief that we will not have to immediately come back into the office and do 10 ways it ties into the next Batman film.
Yes, Easter egg hunting will just be a thing of the past. It'll be, sit back 2 hours, be like, what a horrible time, because it's quite a nasty story, but 2 hours of
I've heard it's
relaxation.
similar, are you going to look at the Taxi Driver one? Because I've heard it's quite similar to Taxi Driver.
Do you want to read this one? Okay, Mr. Pointy Finger, here you go.
Why don't you tell the class, Adam? Joker feels like if Scorsese made Taxi Driver as a comic book film. Amazing performance, great score, but I'm not sure it knows what it's trying to say. Could potentially be dangerous for the wrong person to watch. Some fun twists that make me want to see it again and discuss.
Yeah, it was slash film.
Yeah, this has been the other underlying thing that's come out of all of this, that it's very clever, but it might not be clever in the way that it's trying to be, and instead be interpreted different ways by different people.
Yeah, this is the thing that we needed to get to when we're talking about all this thing. It's very exciting, it being amazing, Joaquin Phoenix being amazing, all these things being amazing. Amazing is being seeded again,
Amazing.
but nobody has put amazing in their review, but that's the word I'm going to use for it. If you can find one with amazing,
Go on,
that would be helpful. But that it's been seeded as this fantastic story with all these different things in it that is going to come together in a wonderful, amazing kind of way. There is this underlying worry that it's going to pull a Fight Club and everyone's going to perceive it as this...
Something that's not.
Yeah, something like put all this political influence on it that it is not trying to say, where it's actually going the opposite direction. Like with Fight Club and Tyler Durden, everyone's setting up their own big masculine fight parties. Fight clubs would probably be the most appropriate term for them. And then that's going to be the same with the Joker, where it's a certain culture is going to latch onto it and perceive it in the alt-right kind of way.
Well, obviously, we haven't seen this film yet, so we can't really go down that route and say that's what it is.
No, but that's what people are saying in their reviews.
And thus, the general public haven't seen it yet, so we have no idea if that's what's going to happen at all. But a few critics have pointed out that they've got a little bit of a reservation for it. That the whole idea is the Joker was thrown into a vat of acid originally, but now what if he was thrown into society? And that's kind of like...
Richard literally came in and said this. Give him his credit. Give him his credit.
Let me finish. He didn't say it, saw it on Twitter.
True.
So whoever said that originally, we'd like to credit you for that. But it's all like, deep, borderline pub level psychology.
It makes my stomach churn.
Anything else? I couldn't find the word amazing in there, but there are some other interesting ones.
It's my review of it. It's going to be my review when it comes
Amazing!
out. Yeah.
Gravitas.
Ooh, sniff that. So the other ones we've had, which are like skewing a little bit more negative. We've had Slash Film, which says, maybe there should be some worry.
I would say they don't skew negative. They've got a caveat.
Compared to the normal ones, they skew. That's the closest Slash Film comes to being negative. But then Time absolutely goes in on it and says the movie's cracks, and it is practically all cracks. Baby does not have back. Are stuffed with phony philosophy. Joker is dark only in a stupidly adolescent way, but wants us to think it is imparting subtle political or cultural wisdom, which is what we've basically touched upon there.
Yes, that could also be a review of me, so I'm not going to take that as too much of a worry. By and large, though, was it 97% on Rotten? No, 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, 9.7 on IMDb.
Yeah, that's it.
Like overwhelmingly so far, the
No,
reviews.
Rotten Tomatoes 88%.
88. 88.
Yeah, which
That's
is
still
still-
incredible.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's really
9.7 on IMDb. The reviews are broadly some of the strongest we've seen for any film that's come out.
You
at
Google
all.
it and it's just 10s out of 10s, 5s out of 5s, 7s out of 7s, all the full numbers are there. Like, honestly, it's ridiculous. I think IGN gave it their first 10 out of 10 of the whole year, which is kind of ludicrous.
The Guardian gave it 5 stars. Like, obviously, there do appear to be some caveats attached to it by certain critics, but again, we'll have to explore those as and when we see it. You have to make up your own mind about those as and when you see it, which I mean, of course, you're going to. It looks incredible.
Yes.
By and large, it looks really good.
It does. I think there's one. To be fair, there's probably one more we can spew out, which is IndieWire, which is Todd Phillips' Joker is unquestionably the boldest reinvention of superhero cinema since The Dark Knight. A true original that is sure to be remembered as one of the most transgressive studio blockbusters of the 21st century, which is maybe the biggest praise it gets in this whole run. But it also comes with the caveat of, let me find the right bit here.
Ooh, brace yourself.
Ooh, it's possessed by the kind of it's possessed by the kind of provocative spirit that's seldom found in any sort of mainstream entertainment, but also directed by a glorified edgelord who lacks the discipline or nuance to responsibly handle such hazardous material, and who reliably takes the coward's way out of the narrative most critical moments.
Wow, IndieWire, say what you really think.
Literally, they've gone from one to the other. They've really gone. Ooh, okay, it's really good, but he's an edgelord who doesn't know what he's doing.
Jesus. It is worth pointing out that not a single piece of art, like TV, film, or otherwise, is ever universally praised. There's always somebody who finds something wrong with it. So it shouldn't be too much of a surprise. And this, if this is an outlying review, then fine.
I feel like it's one of those things that's going to either draw, I don't think it's going to put people off. I think it's going to draw people in to approach it from a critical standpoint and be like, hey, this is what I think of it.
Shall I read that middle paragraph? Did you deliberately miss that one out?
Yeah, I did. You can read that one.
This is IndieWire. It's also a toxic rallying cry for self-pitying incels and a hyper-familiar origin story so indebted to Taxi Driver and the King of Comedy that Martin Scorsese probably deserves an executive producer credit. Wow, IndieWire.
I know, literally. I feel like that's a good one to end on because it literally goes all over the place and proper hams it up. But yeah, we're not going to know what it is until it hits October 4th, I think, and that's when it actually comes out and we can all see it and all judge it and all have a big forum discussion like back in the day.
Isn't it, still?
Yeah, it's literally so long away. It's Venice Film Festival is the one that actually managed to get it out.
And what did it get at the end of Venice Film Festival?
It's 8 minutes standing ovation.
8-minute standing ovation, even though, again, Rich Hudson has reliably informed us that people only clap for 7 seconds.
Yes, that's like at least.
Is that a queue of 40 or 50 people? No, 200 people coming in and just clapping. We're getting into clap maths here, which is
at least 60 times more than the average clap.
Have you done that in your head?
Well, 60 seconds in a minute.
That's genuinely quite impressive. But yeah, an 8-minute standing ovation at the end of Venice Film Festival, which apparently A Star Is Born got that as well.
I don't know if you Google 8 minute standing ovation at Venice Film Festival, apparently it happens a lot.
This is the thing.
Yeah, I think 8 minutes is just their standard clap time.
How long shall we clap for? Well, I thought it was just as good as A Star Is Born, but not quite as good as...
Exactly.
Oh, have you ever had a standing ovation?
Well.
Oh, don't do that. That was your chance to come up with some great little career. Just let them see you from a career perspective. No, you laughed because you thought about erections. Thanks, Ash. Thanks so much. We'll leave it there, shall we? Yeah. So we've got a month to go until get that smile. We've got a month to go until Joker hits cinema screens here in the UK. But by all accounts, except for IndieWire, it looks like being a really, really, really awesome standalone reinvention of the superhero genre, even though it doesn't star a single superhero.
I mean, Batman's in it.
Batman's not a superhero. Batman is just a rich guy who likes beating up on criminals.
Oh, this is where we end. Do you want
to do the outro then?
Okay, goodbye. This is Adam Clery. I'm Ash Millman. We'll be back again soon. Thank you for watching, and please let us know what you think about all this sort of thing in the comments section below. And are you excited for the Joker? Because we sure as hell are. But yeah, talk to us, please.
Talk to us, please. Goodbye.
Bye.